objections, because some of you already have a team page. Some of you may not, but most of you probably already have a team page. And you probably, when we have team members that have team pages, we hear these things a lot. So number one, my team isn't working. Okay, well, I hear that a lot. My team isn't working. Well, that means, let's go back up to the top. Because a lot of times I'll sit there, I know we've all had this thought before, some of my people aren't working. Well, you know what? That's when you do back to self-reflective time and you go, okay, what can I do to help them? What am I doing as a leader that I need to turn around and relay to the rest of my team? So you never should say my team isn't working, because number one, they either don't want it bad enough, or number two, you need to be looking back at yourself. So no one likes or comments on my team page. That's okay. They are going to see what's on your team page. It's just like your regular Facebook page. So you may post something on your regular Facebook page and you go, no one liked it or commented. I promise you a ton of people saw it. They might not have said anything and they might not have liked it, but they saw it. How many people have had someone a year later after they started Plexus message them and say, I've been watching your journey, and they never liked or commented on anything that you have posted on Facebook, okay? Same thing goes with your team page, okay? A lot of these people are watching your team page, and just because they don't comment on it does not mean that they do not see it. I do not live in the same town with my team. Okay, Julia doesn't really live in the same town with any of her team. Does anybody live in the same town as Julia? Anybody in here? No, a little bitty group. But from the beginning, you have never lived in the same town. Brandy Walker lives right outside of D.C. Y'all, she doesn't live in the same town with any of her people. She doesn't live in the same country. As some of her people. A lot of her team lives in Italy. So she has to make time for her team. She does Zoom calls a lot. She can't meet one-on-one with her team. Y'all, I have people everywhere. Lindsay has people everywhere. Julie has people everywhere. Rita, Brooke, everybody, Holly. We all have people everywhere, and we can't always meet with our team. That's why we have, y'all, this Zoom thing is fantastic. You can get on a Zoom call and meet with your team right there. This is an excellent time to have a team like this and to have multi-level marketing, because we can have meetings wherever we are, any time of the day, anywhere we are. So that's really not an excuse. I work different hours than my team. All right, well, we were just talking about Brandy. Brandy has to get up really early in the morning to have a team meeting with her team at night because they live halfway across the world. So that's not really an objection that we need to be hearing. You can make time for your team. I have some people that really like to meet one-on-one, and so I have to go meet them in the morning, or I have to go meet them in the afternoon. I have people that like to do 8:30. I have people that like to do 9 o'clock at night. Leanne goes to bed at 9 o'clock at night because she has to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I have to do, things earlier with my team because I know that Leanne and some people like to go to bed, earlier than I do. So I have to be able to schedule things around them. No one comes to calls or meetings. Are you putting them out on your team page? Are you letting people know about these things? Are you making it attractive to your team? If you're just plastering it up there on your team page and saying, hey, I'm doing a call tonight, be on what? What are you going to talk about? Is your team excited to hear from you? If your team's not excited to hear from you, then you need to be evaluating yourself. Are you making yourself look like a leader? Are you appearing to your team that you're a leader? Do they want to hear what you have to say?
Are you connecting with them one-on-one?
Right.
I'll tell you, most people I have not connected one-on-one aren't going to jump. They're not going to jump on a group call with me.
Right. And Brooke is a perfect example of that. I'm going to use her example. She did her first Zoom call, I think, this last week with her team. She never does Zoom calls because she is super great at one-on-one. She talks to her team one-on-one. Now, don't use her as an example for not doing a Zoom call. But obviously, her team has done amazing, and she's so good at one-on-one. So don't always just rely on Zoom. Really try to reach out to those people one-on-one. I don't do a ton of Zoom calls. I do enough, but I don't do a ton of them because I really like to connect with my people one-on-one.
And I'll say that, so I'm compared to where I didn't have anyone to tell me, I built my business on Zoom calls.
Right.
Because that's where my people were at. So I think the important thing is I get these excuses of, nobody's in town with me and I just like to be face-to-face. You have to meet people where they're at. As a leader, you have to, we were talking about this, you have to sacrifice at the beginning, or even at the end, I guess, or middle, I don't think I'm at the end, but like the middle, you have to make a sacrifice and meet people where they're at, because, and figure out what works for them. So.
And I will say that some people like to meet one-on-one. You're going to find some people that do not want to talk to your Facebook message, or they do not want to listen to your Facebook little voice message that you send. They want to either talk to you on the phone or they want to meet with you face-to-face. Some people don't like Zoom. Some people don't know how to get on Zoom. They're just confused by the whole thing and they don't care about it and they really want to meet face-to-face. Some people love Zoom. They want to sit in their pajamas and listen to a meeting just like these people are doing right now. And that's how they function, and they want to be on that. So she's right. You got to meet them where they're at.
Okay, so if I had my PowerPoint, I was going to play the song "We Are Family." Somebody can sing it. I'm really about music. But this is Holly Devers, and I will tell you, I didn't have to think about it long, or L. Rob, like, what should Holly talk about? Team culture, because she is great, and she can get anybody to a meeting, and it's like her magic power. So she's going to tell us how she gets people to meetings and to everything.
Well, first of all, like, I love my team. Like, I genuinely love my team. And they love me back, I think, because I feel it. So, I think that the main thing is when you have somebody to sign up, whether it's your level 1 or your level 5 or whoever in between, reach out to them. If someone's not putting you in a throwaway message with them, reach out to them and say, hey, welcome to the team. You know, introduce yourself. Have that connection with them, because I think that personal connection is so important. Why? Because people do not know how much we care, want to know how much we know until they know how much we care, right? I have a lot of people that'll get going on the, that'll get going and then they'll get discouraged and want to quit, and they're like, oh, well, okay. And so I try to get people to events, whether I have events or we're doing Zoom or, you know, FaceTime or whatever it is. I try to get people there, because if you try to do this on your own, you're going to get discouraged and you're going to quit, because you're going to feel like, oh, it's just me. Oh, I don't know enough people. You're going to start the pity party. You're going to start slowly going down. You're not going to have as many Facebook posts. You're not going to. So what do these events do? They build your belief, number one. They build your belief. And the whole thing is wrapped around our belief. When we believe in something and we're strong and we're passionate about it, people can see that. It comes across. When I tell people I have 24 of my immediate family members off of a medication or feeling better, that is powerful. That is life-changing. That is exciting. And so, but my team, they don't know that if they're not at an event or on a Zoom or somewhere that they can hear that. You know, you may have sat here and you heard a story similar to one of the ones that have talked, and you're like, oh gosh. You know, I remember Ellen doing a training, and she said, whatever level you're at now, you're going to have to sacrifice and work even harder to get to the next level. So if you're not willing to sacrifice something, whether it be a little time to come to an event, to grow yourself, I mean, people want to sign up and they're like, oh, I need to be diamond in like tomorrow, and you know, I want to be a millionaire. And that's not realistic, guys. We've got to plug into what is realistic expectations and really dive in. So how do I get people to events? Well, individually message them. I don't just put it out there on the group page, because they assume that that's for everybody, right? Okay, so when you send out individual message, you start having that communication back and forth. And when people tell you an objection, and you're like, oh, well, that's okay, I know you're busy, but you know what? This meeting is going to be awesome. I've seen that training, and the outline is amazing. You need to be there because I know why you need this business. So when people start objecting to you, you need to be able to say, hey, I know your why. And I know Jody's why. I know why you want your husband to stay home and not be stressed out. You know, I know Leslie's why. And I know the things that are important to my people. And so I remind them of that when they start objecting. And I ask each individual person, hey, you need to come to this. You need to hear this, because why? We're learning from the people that have made it to the top. We are on the most successful team in Plexus. Everyone over me is a diamond. What? I mean, do you realize what kind of room you're sitting in right now? When we went to Hawaii, there were like 450 jewels out of the whole U.S., Canada, Australia, all of that. Okay, that's like nobody, guys. In Texas, how many jewels are there in Texas? Well over 70?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In Alabama, there's less than 15 of us? I mean, hello, what are we doing? We've got to get on it. And if you're not willing to sacrifice something and come and learn how to do this right, then don't be upset when you fail. You know, I mean, and that's the truth. That's the hard truth. My husband and I, he's here. God, he's precious. I love him. I do. He literally drove me from 11:30 to a sip and see out here too, and I drove 3 hours here, and he drove me. So I have a precious family. But when I started this, he was like, why are you always on your phone? Why are you, and it was a hard time, and we had to sit down and be like, okay, this is what I can see happening for us. This is what can happen for our family. But you know what? Sometimes I had to put my phone down and spend time with my husband and my children. So it's all a level of balance. But I didn't learn that by sitting at home and just fighting with my husband. I learned that by coming to events. I learned how to manage the things that were difficult for me because I went to events. If you have an event here, I'm going to break my neck to be there. I am. I'm going to be there any way possible. If I'm not in a hospital, I will be there. Because why? It fills my cup. It motivates me. When you are around like-minded people, you get inspired, you get encouraged. We all have a reason that we're here. And you can't tell me that this is not from God. He woke me up at 3 o'clock in the morning this morning and shared this with me. Plexus, because he told me I need to do it.
Elroy had messaged her 8 times.
And I told her no. Yeah. But he laid Plexus on my heart, and so what I do immediately went to Elrod because she had been the one messaging me. I mean, why would I think about Plexus in the middle of the night? So many on my team have so many reasons, and it's so refreshing to get on Zoom meetings and to pray over my team and to pray over the things and the wants and the hopes and the dreams for the people that I love. And it fills my cup and it makes me happier and makes me want to go and share it with more people. Because I'm telling you, on a training that we did, there was she said something about whatever you do, your actions, your activity, everything you do, other people's destiny is tied to what you are doing. And so what are you doing? Who out there are you supposed to be sharing with? You may not get that inspiration unless you come to an event. You may not hear that type of training unless you come to an event. So I really do think that your business changes when you come to events. So when my people send me back reasons why that they can't come, I don't just say, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I don't do that. I'm like, oh, really? I'm really going to hate you're going to miss this. And some of y'all are on there now. Isn't that right? Yeah. Because I sent my own message and I said, hey, y'all are going to be on Zoom tonight if you didn't drive up here, right? The ones that did the video, you're going to be on Zoom tonight because you need to hear this too. So no excuses. No excuses. We can make time. If you're not willing to sacrifice a little time, then you're not going to be successful.
And can I just say, I think we all had that same kind of belief when we were silvers. Because we may not have had all these events, but we watched Diamond Dog every day. We'd cry. I remember, just listening, oh my goodness, I had no idea who these people were. I listened to testimonies all the time. Those kind of things, the times that you possibly cannot just drive to Texas. But you can listen to this stuff, y'all. And I would encourage you, even as a Diamond, I love to watch Diamond documentaries. I love to listen to people's testimonies, things like that get me built up. I love it. One, because it does something to you. Two, because it gives you a library of resources when you see someone that says, oh my goodness, I know, oh my gosh, I just heard a testimony about that. Let me send this to her. So it's constantly, you put out what you get in, right? So it's constantly giving you a resource of things too. So
I love the Diamond Dot thing. I literally, Josh would come in on my break at work and I'll be sitting there crying. He'd be like, what are you doing? And I'd be like, oh, I'm going to Diamond Dot. Because I have a dream. I want to have a Diamond Dot one day. And I will, So you've got to stay plugged in to people. And because every day you're not going to have a sale, that's unrealistic. Every day you're not going to gain a new ambassador, that's unrealistic. But every day, you've got to continue to work the business. So your results will show in 2 weeks, 6 weeks, 6 months down the road. What you're doing now is what's going to happen in the future.
How many people in here had a major moment at an event, changed their business? I know Joy has. She would raise her hand. She wasn't talking. Yeah. So yes. Okay. Raise your hand so everybody can see it, because I think it has been probably most of our leaders, and it was an event that kind of was like, whoo. I'm going to work this business. Yeah.
So I would say too, just talking about events, y'all, none of this is probably new information, but I've heard people say, you know what, I've already seen this. The point is for you to go and bring your team, and every time you go, make it bigger and bigger and bigger, and the next thing you know, look at this room of Julia's team.
And I think I did a retreat for Sarah's team in Tuscaloosa Friday night, and we were just saying almost to the exact day, a year ago, I did an event in Tuscaloosa, y'all. I opened it up to my whole team, and I think 4 people showed up, and 2 of them were your teams, okay? Y'all, did y'all hear that Tuscaloosa was the #1 on Andrea's list a year later? Y'all, that's why I get excited. She had 28 people there a year later. So just because you have 2 people show up at your event this year it could be a year later that you have 28 or it's your fastest. So.
Was it last year? It was this week I came to Alabama last. Was it last year when we were on Tuscaloosa? But I came to Alabama and we did like, I think 2 or 3 different ones. Was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
And y'all, what was that name of that place on campus? It was like a
Glory round.
We couldn't even fill up like the bottom room.
No.
And there was like 2 other teams that were like so glad these people came.
Yeah,
Like, we
because
couldn't even-
nobody came. So I mean, you just have to stay consistent and have those events. I was even reading. I came across a thing. I was searching my team page for something, and a post from Celeste about it was like 7 savvy ways to grow your business, and one of her ways was have events. And I think Elrod said this. You know, some people try to mimic what we're doing right now. But really, you should be mimicking, or maybe you said this day. I don't know,
what we did at the beginning.
What we did at the beginning. And at the beginning, we had events after events. I drove to Tuscaloosa. I drove to wherever you live. I drove to Montgomery. I met somebody here tonight that was at that meeting at Chicken Salad Chicken. We had events. So you need to be having events. I had never been to a sip and see, and I held my own in Tuscaloosa, and it was sad. Sarah can tell. I think Sarah's the only one here that was at that one, but it was
that sad.
It was.
Sarah's
pretty
the only one that stuck with her.
no, actually, there's still all of my things. But no, seriously, have events because it will change your business. Okay, so next is. Oh, we're going to ask questions. I think we need some interaction.
What are some of the things that have been successful that have built your team culture?
And we want the Jules to start, and now I want y'all to be thinking. Andrea, what's one thing that's been successful to build your team culture?
I say having lunches. Like I just have it's not a training, it's not an opportunity meeting. We will just meet for like, hey, on Friday, anybody want to meet at this place? And let's just meet and have lunch. And you can have random people from all over that may not even be on your team, they may be sidelines. For us, I mean, I'll do all of Roz's team, and it's just nice to get to actually talk to people and get to know each other, and then they kind of form connections and sidelines themselves. They're like, oh, you're the same place I am, and I actually like you. I'll be sidelined to you. It happens.
Rita, what's one thing that helped build your team culture?
I really think the biggest thing is just having that positive attitude and praising people, even the smallest little things. You know, because people love praises, and they work harder for
praises and raises.
Right.
Brookie.
Probably getting to know your people and strategically grouping them together in group chats. I know some of us here are a part of a group chat that has been going strong for many, many, many months, and it was just strategic in the time because I mean, they were my people, you know, they still are, but I mean, there was just, and I have like 5 or 6 of them. So I really think that, you know, matching people with certain, I know Amanda Martini, she's on my team, and she really focuses on that, you know, matching people and getting them to bounce. Because think about, like Holly said, think about all of this room right now. I mean, how awesome it is to be with like-minded people. Same thing with group chats.
You know, kind of the same thing, but in a different way. Like, I think something, and my team can maybe attest, but I'm just really good at finding out what people are good at. And so finding people's strengths and kind of being that person, like pulling out what they're really good at and praising that thing. And any kind of little victory, praising that. Really, I wasn't able to do a lot of lunches early on just because I was but I wasn't able to spend a lot of one-on-one time, whether it's phone calls or voice messages or whatever. I spent a lot of one-on-one time investing in my team and getting to know them. I know my team's love language. I know their strengths. I know what they struggle with. So I think getting to know people, especially my little ones, really, really well, even outside of Plexus, like not Plexus things. I know about their children. I know about their marriages. I know things like that. And I think that's when you find out what they're really good at.
I'm going to piggyback on what Lindsay's saying is I have people that are stronger than me in a lot of different areas train my team on that. So if y'all know Rachel Neagle, she's my level 2. Since day one, the girl has practically been our products person. Like, I don't do products videos. You'll never see me do a product video. You'll see me struggle through products in an opportunity meeting. But I find someone that's really good at that. I can have somebody else do a really good, like, here's how to do welcome graphics, or here's a graphics thing, or I can have Rachel Rogers talk about Instagram, or I can talk, find somebody that's better at something than you are and let them do a video for your team. I promise, if you have someone that's recruited 3 level 1s this month, I have Michelle is in Minnesota. She's my level 9, so I don't get paid on anything she does. She's become a sweet friend, and the girl recruits like nobody's business. So I messaged her and said, will you do a video for my team on how you recruit? I mean, it doesn't change my paycheck to motivate her, but it changes my team from her to motivate my team. So use people's strengths on your team and have them train your team on things they're good at that maybe isn't your wheelhouse. If they always see your face, it's totally different than saying, hey, Julia, will you train on this? Hey, Holly, will you train on this? Rita, will you train on this? And they're like, oh, you said the exact same thing Andrea said, but it sounded different when Julia said it. And I just think it's really important to pull strengths from the rest of your team and know their strengths.
Melissa, you got some?
I think one thing that we did here recently was we kind of did an accountability challenge. And if you've ever done like a dynamic duo challenge, you get paired up with someone. And I have 2 ladies that are sitting right here that became such great friends through that, and they just met tonight. And I had a ton of people on my team that just paired up together, and I mean, they really got to know one another, people they would have never met otherwise. They don't live in the same town, they don't know each other, but they got to meet that way. And that really created a great team culture for us. They rooted each other on, they were excited about who won, or, and it was just a really fun little thing to do. So that's something we've done recently that really created a great team culture.
Well, she just stole mine, because that was mine that I wrote down today. So but I will say, but that tells you great duplication right there, level 2. It's dynamic duo, and I thought, what changed my team culture? I can look back and say, early on, I've done 3 dynamic duos. It's really hard for me now because there's so many. But I did dynamic duo, and again, if you don't know what it is, it's just pairing 2 people up. They couldn't be on the same team, so you couldn't be on the same leg. And it was just the meeting, and it changed my team culture. And I can tell my team, just they interact with each other differently from that point on. So that's why I've done 3. And if you have a larger team, you can always take certain legs and do stuff like that with. So I like those.
Just talking about that, I joined one day, and the next day she started Dynamic Duo, and she made a little post that said, does anybody else want to do it? And I just meekly said, am I too new with this to give it a try? She was like, okay. Sure. And so she paired me up with Lisa Knoxdinger, who'd been doing it for a little bit. And she is really the one that was like, this is how we pose. This is what, and we just had that great communication. And I don't know, she just helped me so much growing up. Getting started.
Well, and Rita went emerald in 7 months. So I like to say it's because of Dominic.
It really was. It was.
So,
And can I say this too? Just it's kind of piggybacking off what Andrew said at the very beginning. Finding those different personalities is so good. Even if you're not a blue, recruiting those blues. If you're not, Lisa Knoxinger is such a green, but finding those people that are not like you. So, and they bounce off you.
Brooke and I are blues.
if you don't know what the colors are, I'll be very honest. I was very skeptical because Lindsay's my self-development person. It has changed the way I deal with my team. The colors will change. So just go find the color personality, watch the Eagle video, or the 4 people. It really, not just Plexus, it will change the way you relate to people at church. Yes. It will change the way you relate to your friends. You're like, oh, that's why you don't think like I do. I don't know. It just has changed my relationship.
Okay, so do the Jules all know what their colors? Rita obviously doesn't, but...
How's that version?
I can tell you.
Okay, so blues are primarily focused on, if you get a blue on your team, they want the shopping spree. They want the recognition on stage. They want the iPad incentive we had last year in November.
Travel.
They want the travel. They want to go to Maui with all the friends. They want the fun. They want whatever is kind of not really the center of attention, but just kind of like the fun stuff that they give you at the top. That's a blue. So I signed up to get the shopping spree. I signed up in November. I've earned it 3 years in a row. That was I need a carrot dangled in front of me at all times, and I will run for that carrot. Just give me something fun to go for, and make it a party. So at every single event, they have a party. I'm like, what's the party about? What do we all get? What are we doing? So it's always dry, and I recruit people based on, don't you want to come have fun? We have so much fun all the time. that might drive some of my friends nuts.
Which was a turnoff to me, because I'm really not blue.
No,
and I
you're
was
not.
like, I don't want to have fun with you. I just wanted the money. I needed so I'm more red, which is weird.
And red means they're money focused. So if you're sitting at La Madeleine with them and they say how much do you make, and you tell them a number, and in their terminology is they almost fell off their chair, that might be the reason she finally decided to sign up. It wasn't that I was getting a shopping spree. It wasn't any of those things. It wasn't even the trips. It was really, she was like, I will trade in all those things if there's a cash value associated with them at the time.
And not that I'm materialistic, but that's what my family needed. So
yeah. And so, does anyone else know what they are?
Who's green in here? Green, we don't need green. Green is very
Rachel Neagle is a green.
facts, very research. Those people that care about what's in the products, how it works.
I'm a green.
Yes, you're right.
I'm listening to you twice.
Yes.
When Andrea was telling you guys, like, people look through, can you see how she was thinking through a blue's mind? Okay, so like she was thinking of people that, and that's great, that's exactly the kind of people. But if you're a green, you may not think about that kind of stuff, or a yellow. If you're a yellow, you're probably going to look more for your healthcare professionals. You're going to look more for your teachers, your people that are like, that care and are long term, kind of want to take people and just hold them and help them and that kind of thing. Does that make sense? So your brain looks for those kind of.
You'll have people that will say, I don't care if I make any money, I just want to get these products in as many hands as possible, so I want to help them. I want to make them feel better. I want them to have, my whole goal isn't myself, it's somebody else. So usually a yellow is the person that just wants to help everybody. Now that doesn't mean you don't have the others. If you're a blue and you like prizes, doesn't mean you don't love people. It just means it's not your motivation. So you really probably, it's like love languages, it's like spiritual gifts. You have a little bit of all of them. You just have a dominant one. And I think somebody's real. Julia, are you real even across the board? But you have a little bit more red than anything
I
else.
was told I have the least amount of green than any jewel. Like when I tested. So sorry, y'all, I know nothing about the products. But I don't care about facts. I just don't. I know that sounds weird, but
And she thinks it's weird that I ask questions.
And I don't know any history. Zero.
But I love it though that you can do like this, because there are people that are like, I'm just not going to be able to do this. And here we have Julia. She'll be like, Rita, tell me to get this done. Like, I'm a diamond. I don't
But you know what? That's what's great.
Anybody can.
And we have all the different colors on teams, and that's why I think as a leader, and honestly, because I think I am so anti-green, this is too, I don't want to know all these tests. I hate tests. I hate taking tests about myself. I'm just not good at it. But this has really helped me learn my team. It helps me understand. Something came up the other day, and I called Lindsay, and I was like, why did this teammate do this? And she was like, Julia, she's green. I was like, oh, you're right. Okay, and now I was like, no. It wasn't anything against me. It was just because she thinks differently than me. So really, if you're serious about leading a successful team, you've got to know. Probably other things, but to me, the color test is the easiest to know. Know your people.
What's yellow? I'm answering questions.
What's
Sorry.
yellow? Elrob can probably.
People that are all about other people.
Helping others. Like your teachers, your nurses, but there's a video that they can watch that will really go into great detail about it. Just Google, go to YouTube and find or go on our team page. It may be it's on Kelly Norman's YouTube channel.
15 minutes. Okay, yeah, we only have about 15 minutes. So we're going to go into customer and wholesale care. And guys, this is so key. Because obviously, without our amazing products and the testimonials, our business, it really wouldn't matter. So Rita is going to talk about why we need to make sure we have great belief in our products.
Okay, I can just stay here.
Yeah, you can stay there.